Today, we're going to dig into one of the most famous poems ever written. It's a tiny, 3-line haiku that has captivated people for centuries. We're going to take it apart piece by piece to figure out what makes it an absolute masterpiece. So, there it is. Just let that sit for a second. 3 lines, 17 syllables. That's the entire poem. Seems almost too simple, right? Just a quick snapshot of something happening. But here's the thing. This little haiku is a giant in the poetry world. So what's the deal? How can this one tiny moment, captured by the poet Bashō, still hit so hard after all this time? Well, that's the big mystery we're going to solve in this explainer. Okay, so first things first, we have to talk about translation. Because, the way we experience this poem in English is completely in the hands of the person translating it. Their choices change everything. So check this out. Here, we've stripped the poem down to its bones. You see the original Japanese, and then this super literal breakdown. Old pond, frog jumping into, water sound. It's kind of clunky, right? It's the raw data, but it's not quite poetry. And this is where the art comes in.
Yeah. See, translating isn't just plugging words into a calculator. It's more like being a painter. You're trying to capture a feeling, a whole mood. Every translator picks up a different brush, and their choices can totally change how the poem feels. Let me show you what I mean.
Take this version. William J. Higginson adds the idea of silence. He sets the scene. It's silent. Then, bam, a splash. And then, silence again. He's created this little story about sound breaking the quiet and then peace settling back in. Now for a completely different vibe. Lucian Strike just goes for it with that amazing onomatopoeia, plop. It feels so much more sudden, maybe even a little goofy. It's such a different sound from a splash, and it gives the whole thing a playful energy. And then you get this one. Wow, Harry Burns' version is so theatrical. I mean, low and hark. He even calls the sound water's music. This makes the simple frog jump feel like this grand, majestic event. Totally changes the tone. So, we've seen how the words can shift and change, but what about the core of the poem itself? Let's break down the 3 fundamental images that Bashō gives us no matter who's doing the translating. You can think of it like a tiny 3-act play. Act 1, we get the timeless setting, the ancient pond. Act 2, we get the sudden action, the frog's leap. And Act 3, the climax, the sound of the water. Boom, boom, boom. A perfect little story. And the main tool he's using to pull this off is imagery. Bashō isn't telling you what to feel. Instead, he's putting a picture in your head and a sound in your ear. He's making you see the pond, see the frog, and hear that splash so you can feel it for yourself. And what's amazing is that from these simple little images, these huge ideas start to bloom. You feel the freedom of that frog. You feel the poet's deep affection for this quiet moment. And you see this beautiful, simple connection between a creature and its world. Now you might be thinking, okay, pond, frog, splash. Got it. It's simple. But that simplicity, it's a total illusion. Let's pull back the curtain and look at the technical skill that makes this poem so powerful. Yeah, this wasn't just a random thought he jotted down. This thing is built like a Swiss watch. Bashō is using specific poetic tools, and even in the English translations, you can still feel their effects. They're what give the poem its texture and its depth. First up, just listen to the sounds. Hear that long O sound in Old Pond? It's this open, kind of round sound. It almost makes you think of ripples spreading out. That technique is called assonance, and it immediately slows you down and puts you in a thoughtful mood. And it's not just the vowels. Check out the hard D sound in the Old Pond. It gives the line this weight, this feeling of permanence. It feels solid, ancient. It's amazing how these tiny sounds work on you without you even realizing it.
And of course, there's the big one, symbolism. The pond isn't just a puddle of water. It represents stillness, maybe even eternity. And the frog's leap, that's life. It's energy. It's the present moment, crashing into that stillness. It's this beautiful little picture of how the temporary and the eternal interact.
Okay, let's zoom back out and put all the pieces together. After all this time, why does this one little splash still echo so loud? What's its final legacy? Think about this date for a second, 1686. Bashō wrote this poem over 300 years ago, and here we are, right now, still talking about it, still feeling that moment. That kind of staying power is just astounding.
And that, right there, is the secret sauce. The genius of the poem is that it grabs a split-second event, a frog jumping, and freezes it in time, making it feel infinite. It's a masterclass in finding huge meaning in the smallest, most ordinary moments.
So let's hear it one last time. With all this new stuff in our heads, the translation choices, the imagery, the hidden sounds, the old pond, a frog jumps in, sound of water. It lands a little differently now, doesn't it? A little deeper.
So I want to leave you with this thought. This whole poem is basically an invitation to just pay attention, to notice the little things. So my question to you is, what was your frog jump moment today? What tiny, fleeting moment would you capture in your own 17 syllables?